What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Unhinged Talk. As usual, I'm your host, Patrick Hennessy, joined tonight by Brandon Kramer and Paraskivas Xenofantos. How are we doing tonight, guys?
Pretty good.
I mean, the Yankees lost, so I'm not doing too good.
We're fresh off of Yankees. Now, it wasn't just a loss. That was probably one of the most crushing losses I've seen all season. Not because, they kind of came back and then lost. No, that's even worse. When they just show no effort all game. The offense was lifeless. They had numerous opportunities, and they just completely blew it. Now, that kind of leads me into, the first thing I want to discuss tonight, and that's the offense. The offense tonight looked absolutely atrocious. Now, we know you're not going to see Judge hit 3 home runs every night. DJ's not going to go 4 for 4 every night, and you're just not going to expect these things. But what we do expect is for some guys to produce sometimes. And 2 guys that aren't producing at all are Gleyber Torres and Gary Sanchez. It's atrocious at this point what we've seen out of Gary Sanchez in 2020. He looks completely lost at the plate, and part of it could be attributed to his leg kick. Now, Brennan, I know you're a firm believer that his leg kick has a lot to do with how he's been flopping at the plate lately, so tell us a little bit about that.
I mean, besides that, it just looks like he's late on fastballs. Like you could see in the home run that he actually hit in Philly, he got his leg down a lot quicker than he's done in the past. I mean, especially on the 95-mile-an-hour fastball, he's getting his leg down and starting his swing. The ball's almost there. Like back in 2016 and 2017, he didn't really have that much of a leg kick. But if he can Marcus Timms has probably already looked at this, but I do think that it's part of it because he's just late on fastballs. And then when he gets to 2 strikes, he just goes into self-destruct mode. But
if you really think about it, I forget what inning it was. He had one appearance where he had 3 95-mile-per-hour fastballs just go by him like it was nothing.
I think it was when he had bases loaded, right?
Against Nick Anderson.
Yeah, it was. I mean, let's not discredit Nick Anderson because he's an amazing pitcher. But when someone gives you 3 fastballs that are all very hittable, I mean, Gary, yeah, you should know what's coming at that point. And Chaz Rowe, I think, threw 7 straight sliders. I mean, that's all he throws, essentially. So the offense just looks lifeless, but they're going to have those nights. This is obviously a very offensive dominant team, but there are times where I do question in the playoffs, are we just going to see the same thing happen every year where they dominate during the regular season, and then once they face good pitching when it matters, they're just going to swing and miss every time? It's scary, but it's a harsh reality.
The sad thing is this team knows they have a lot of power. They have a lot of weapons. They can honestly demolish all their opponents when it comes to every single game. But in the last 5 games, especially on the road, they're trying to do too much. Instead of playing small ball, look at all those games we had against Boston where we were down big, maybe 4 or 5 runs, and they came back strong and they won those games. But these games are they didn't get their first hit until they didn't get their first hit to the top of the 6th. DJ got it. But there was at one point Judge had an at bat. He was sloppy as hell. Honestly.
Okay, but here's my thing. We can't count on Judge to hit 3 home runs every night.
But that's the thing.
And if it wasn't for Judge being on fire for a week, they could have lost 3 more games. They would have lost a couple against Boston and 1 against Baltimore. So
I don't disagree with you at all.
You can't rely on Judge to hit home runs every night. That's why, like you said, small ball is so important. To drop down a bunt, base running. Base running is so important, and we've seen it play out tonight with Mike Tauchman. Now, let's not get this confused. I love Mike Tauchman, and I think he should be playing every day. And tonight's loss should not be blamed on Mike Tauchman because no one else did anything. But the base running mistake that happened when he's running to third on an easy ground ball right behind him and he got thrown out by a mile, that can't happen, especially in a tie game late in the game. I understand people have mental blunders, but this is something that needs to be focused on. Not the game of baseball isn't all about strikeouts and home runs. It's just not. It works most of the time when you have awesome hitters, but when you face good pitching like Blake Snell in the Rays bullpen, you can't expect to hit 15 home runs like you would against the Orioles and their bullpen. It just doesn't happen.
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, was tonight Gary's first pass ball of the season?
I mean, they gave him a pass ball, but just not to discredit him, I mean, he's setting up inside or away for a side. Like that, especially with how much the ball is breaking, you can expect to block that, especially with just how much it's breaking. But, I mean, yeah, that comes back to bite you.
Gary hasn't been bad defensively.
No, not at all.
No.
Honestly, the fact
he traded
that Garrett
his bat for his glove.
Garrett Cole came out and said he loves when he pitches to Gary Sanchez.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't Garrett Cole pipe up his catcher though, especially when he's
Absolutely.
struggling? I mean, that's what you gotta do. But if this does continue, I don't really know what the options would be for Gary, because if we're looking 2 weeks from now and his batting average still isn't over 100, we might be seeing Gary Sanchez sent to the alternate site. It's completely possible, and it's outrageous to even think, and I would never even think of it at the beginning of the season. But yeah, if he's still not hitting over 100 a couple weeks from now, I could definitely see a change taking place. Maybe Higashioka gets the start, because what we've seen out of Higashioka so far this year has not been as bad as Sanchez. So I think we just have to give Gary time. He slumps, but he needs to pick up the pace soon if he wants to still be considered one of the best catchers in baseball. But that kind of leads me to my next thing here.
Well, wait, before you go to that,
Yeah,
there's one more person that's stinking up the joint, that's literally batting in the middle of order. Aaron Hicks is terrible right now.
Yeah, I mean, but I think the thing with Hicks is, even though he's not really producing, he's still putting up good at-bats, which I think is the main thing with him, because Hicks is always a guy that's going to give you a good at-bat. I mean, He came in last season, I think his first game was against Verlander in the Bronx. Was that his first game back? It might have been.
Yeah.
One of his first couple games back. But he missed a shit ton of time. And he came back and launched a home run off Verlander in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So he's just the type of guy that you're going to get good at-bats from. But I think the main thing I would be concerned about with Hicks, he has looked lost in center field on numerous occasions. And this is
Especially
a guy
tonight.
this is a guy that I'm usually looking at as one of the better defensive outfielders across Major League Baseball. So, yeah, I think he's just having a complete mental block all around right now, defensively, offensively. But I'm not as worried about him as I am with Gary and Glaber, because those two just look lost. Hicks he's still working counts. He's still being decent. Not good, but decent.
Yeah, I mean, especially tonight with Hicks, I don't think he trusts his arm just yet, and that'll come in time. But, I mean, hey, Taubman, even though he had the mental mistake, he should
still be the starting left fielder, without a doubt.
I agree.
But before we kind of wrap things up tonight, I just want to make a statement about Masahiro friggin' Tanaka. Like, come on. We have an absolute ace in Masahiro Tanaka. I don't care what anyone else says. This man, day in, day out, he comes out to the mound with a partially torn UCL. I think his UCL is partially torn, right?
He got hit in the head a couple weeks ago.
Got hit in the head a month ago. This man gives it his all every single time he steps on the mound. When it's all said and done, he's going to be remembered as one of the best Yankee pitchers of our generation, without a doubt. And he does not get enough love for that.
He would have been tied with Chim Ming Wang for one of the best Japanese pitchers to be on the Yankees, but unfortunately,
I love Masahiro Tanaka. I can't stress it enough. When he steps on the mound, it's kind of like the Garrett Cole factor. And the thing is, he doesn't have the same stuff as Garrett Cole, but he still provides that factor because of how he can just dominate with the flip of a switch, especially in the playoffs. Masahiro Tanaka. Jesus.
Tanaka's one of the most unique pitchers on that staff. He's one of the most unique. And
also, his velocity is up. I mean, how could you expect this guy? Like, it blows my mind. It blows my mind how good Masahiro Tanaka has gotten. And it seems like once we got the bad injury news about him a couple years ago, I kind of thought, oh, man, like this might be it for him. But it seems like he's only improved since then. And it's crazy. He had a couple rough starts against Boston last year that messed up his ERA. But outside of that, he had a really good season last year. He's been super productive in the playoffs. Has he ever given up more than 3 runs in a playoff start? Because I don't think so. He is my guy. If we're talking Game 7 of the World Series, who am I putting out there from the Yankees, Garrett Cole or Masahiro Tanaka? Don't get me wrong, I love Garrett Cole.
I'll put Masahiro Tanaka to start off, and I'll have Garrett
Cole's coming right behind him.
So would I. I'm starting Masahiro Tanaka in a Game 7 of the World Series. I don't care what anyone else says.
Big day for actually on Sunday. Huge day. I mean, tomorrow we're facing Glasnow in one of the games. That's going to be fun.
Is Cole starting off the game tomorrow?
First game.
Yeah,
and with it being 7 innings, if he's on his game, I can 1,000% see Garrett Cole going the entire game. If he's on his game.
I actually forgot that it's a 7-inning game. So yeah, it's extremely possible
But
if he's on his game.
Sunday, I think, no matter what happens, is the biggest game because you have, first of all, struggling Charlie Morton and James Paxton again.
The Yankees win 10-9. But honestly, let's just hope that the game's going to be today. Very, very shortly, actually, if you're watching this now. So the game will be on soon. But Yankees, can you guys please score some runs for Garrett Cole?
DJ's pissed. DJ's pissed, and if DJ's pissed, everyone's pissed. He's like, this
Judge
is not
is
acceptable.
Too. You could, when Judge, he's frustrated at himself. Now, I love Aaron Judge, so just seeing the emotion out of him makes me love him even more. But let's just hope that the offense could get back together because that's really one of the only things the Yankees have going for them right now because starting pitching looks depleted. The bullpen, they need Chapman back. And they're missing Canely, but everything is still bright in the Bronx.
Shout out to Jonathan Holder. Who looks like – I'm not going to say anything too soon, but just from what I've seen from him, especially in some tough spots, maybe if we can just get that first half of 2018 Jonathan Holder, that makes our bullpen a lot better. Because Jonathan Holder, before the Boston Massacre, as we called it, when we got destroyed in Boston, was a very, very good pitcher.
Well, you know what, Brandon?
I'll give props to Sessa. He got into a jam also in this game, but he came out right out of it. So
yeah, but also before we end things, I just want to thank Brandon for absolutely jinxing Jonathan Holder and letting us know he's going to give up 7 earned runs tomorrow. So thank you, Brandon. I
James
appreciate
Paxton is going to throw the worst game of his life.
All right, James Paxton no-hitter on Sunday. And on that note, we will see you guys next time. Have a good one.